the John Muir Way and the John Muir Link, 187 miles in 12 days from Helensburgh to Dunbar and Coburn's Path in June 2026. Day 10, Port Seton to North Berwick, 16 miles. After setting off from Cockenzie and Port Seton, I walked along the beach for several miles. I was still feeling slightly belligerent after the wind on the previous day, but both my mood and the scenery improved considerably as I progressed. 3 miles out from Port Seton at Ferny Ness, and Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh is still visible in the far distance. I believe that the blocks along the beach have something to do with World War II defences. The wildflowers along the shoreline were fantastic. Here are just a few that I saw. Burnet rose, which thrives in coastal environments. Bloody cranesbill. Like other members of the cranesbill family, bloody cranesbill has astringent, styptic and mild antiseptic properties. Sea buckthorn, which contains high levels of vitamins, especially vitamin C, antioxidants and essential fatty acids, and has multiple medicinal uses. And an opium poppy. Thrift, which has diuretic, astringent and antibacterial properties, but it is rarely used today because it can cause skin irritations. And Muir's rose. Stonecrop and Viper's bugloss, which both have multiple medicinal properties. I nearly had a close encounter with a selfish 4x4 driver who parked right in front of the gates to Gosford House, just as I was about to take a photo of them. I made all sorts of annoyed and move along gestures, all to no effect. Then a cyclist arrived and started pouncing around in front of the gates. Then the cyclist left. So, because I was feeling slightly belligerent after yesterday's wind, I then decided to go and confront the driver and ask if they were planning on leaving any time today. I started to march across the road, bristling. They saw me coming and drove off. Here are the gates. I'm now wondering if it was worth it. But you have to admit they are very nice gates. I then reached a lovely picturesque village called Aberlady. The road was closed for the annual church parade, where the newly crowned Gala Court processes from the village hall to Aberlady Kirk for a morning service. I just managed to nip into the church and take some quick photos before the procession arrived outside the church. And here is the procession arriving. I was really impressed with the young lad who was playing the bagpipes. 18th century Aberlady Market Cross. The entrance to Lough Ness Mill House. On my way to Gullen, where I was due to meet my friend Wendy for lunch, I met a couple who told me about a short diversion that I could take to see some amazing poppies near the ruins of Saltcoats Castle. I'm so glad that I took their advice, because just look at the poppies. Wendy and I had lunch at the old clubhouse in Gullen before I marched on a further 6 miles to North Berwick. 2.5 miles out from North Berwick. Arriving in North Berwick. A lovely mural outside my B&B in North Berwick. I clocked up a bit of extra mileage during the evening because I went for a stroll around the town to see the sights. North Berwick is an interesting place with plenty of character. This is the site of St Andrew's Old Kirk, which was a magnet for pilgrims from all over Scotland on their way to St Andrews in the Middle Ages, plus the Scottish Seabird Centre and a Celtic memorial cross. Please see my Day 11 video for the continuation.